because I think it makes a huge difference for people. They can tell whether you're just doing it for a paycheck or you're doing it for passion to get them a result in their life.
Welcome to the Big Money Influencers Podcast. We talk with top influencers and experts to help you navigate and prosper in your business. It's all about creating wealth, legacy, and an online presence. Here's your host, Ceanne Livingston.
Welcome to Big Money Influencer Summit. Jesus Balderes, who's going to show us the 5 steps to growing a business. I'm so excited. He is a master when it comes to building wealth, and he's going to share some major strategies that will help you create wealth, especially if you are an entrepreneur. Welcome, Jesus. I'm glad that you're here.
I'm glad to be here with you, Ceanne.
So my first question is, in a nutshell, what do you do?
Well, for the past 25 years, I've worked with small businesses. Kind of a quick story on that. My first wife was Australian, and we moved to Australia. As I tried to get job after job after job for the first 10 weeks, I was either Yankee or too qualified, so I couldn't get a job. And I was like, I'm not a Yankee, I'm from Texas, but my Lord. What I decided to do is I came across some people that knew the university that I went at and thought very highly of our students. I ended up going back into what I knew. My senior year, I did an internship in insurance and financial services. I started my business in Australia 26 years ago now in insurance initially, and then moved into financial planning. And as I did that, I focused on working with small businesses, teaching to do their investments and their insurances and all that good stuff, and then do the planning for their employees. What I found is the first 5 years of my business, I doubled it every single year. And my clients started asking me what the heck I was doing, kind of evolved into teaching them the strategies that I was using, which was referral marketing and developing processes and systems that automated my business. After several years, I remember, I think it was 98, I was sitting in my office at home at about 10:30 at night, and I had a binder that was a 3-inch binder. I know we store everything in the cloud these days, but back then it was binders, and I had about 150 pages of financial data for a client that wasn't even a client yet. It was a prospect. I was preparing a plan for them, and I'm like, this is nuts. Like, what am I doing? Why don't I focus on what I love doing? And that was teaching and showing people how to grow their businesses and create wealth through business. So that's where everything evolved 20 plus years ago, into teaching people how to grow their business and taking it from that one person business or one person with an assistant and starting to build a team, and then showing them how to automate their business where they can start to create wealth through it. It's a system I developed over the years with some of my partners called Maximum Profits in Minimum Time. It's an 8-step system that we show people how to grow their business and scale it eventually so they can have that life that they want to have through employment.
That's awesome. Sounds exciting. I love the fact that you decided to work and doing something you love.
Oh, it is. I think it's what you've truly got to do. You don't have to necessarily love the product, but you got to love the process of your business and what you're doing for your clients, because I think it makes a huge difference for people in your clients. They can tell whether you're just doing it for a paycheck or you're doing it for passion to get them a result in their life.
Absolutely. What problem do you solve with your clients?
Well, the problem I'm typically solving is getting them out of their own way, and then also in a humorous way, getting them out of their own ego. Because anyone that's started their own business is they've all gotten to the place where they're working 60, 80, 90, 100 hours, and they feel like every part of the business has to operate with them. They're doing the customer service, they're doing the selling, they're doing the fulfilling, they're doing the marketing, they're doing the relationship building, all that stuff. So things fall through the cracks. You can be a hard worker and you can be disciplined, but you have to have a team to scale your business. A lot of my clients come to me where they've worked their butt off and they've built up a business and some revenue, typically $500,000 to $1 million when they start to work with me, up to 10 million. And they have got there, but they don't have their team in place yet. They're still doing the training. They're still doing the hiring. They're still doing the accounting. They're doing some of the fulfilling and having some people just support them. I come in and I solve the problem of letting the business no longer control their life. and starting to create financial freedom in their life.
That's so cool. Delegation.
Yes, I think we were on a call not too long ago where it's Who Not How was a friend recommended a book. Who can do it better than I can do it?
Absolutely. Yes. Who's your ideal customer when you're talking about serving businesses and serving people in your client? What type of person is your ideal customer or client?
Well, the ideal business for me is a professional service-based business. I've done a ton of work in the last decade with interior designers. That's an example of a service-based business. Previously, I'd worked with a lot of attorneys. I've worked with insurance agents, financial planners, as well as massage therapists, hair salons. They're selling a service and some product with it. And I don't typically work with restaurants or those types of businesses, product retail businesses. I'm not interested in, because it's a different breed and a different skill set. But I've worked with medical practitioners, surgeons, dentists in various ways over the years.
So you prepared a presentation for us. I'm super excited. It looks amazing. The Path to Financial Freedom.
Yes, I'm pretty excited about this. This is just a nice little presentation that gets through some of the basics of entrepreneurship. It's what we teach and what we start to show people that are important, but a lot of times are missed. So what I want to go through initially is the 5 stages of business. How do we grow, and what are the steps that we took? You can see on the bottom of the screen, I give credit to Bradley Sugars over at Action Coach. He built this ladder that he shares a lot of time, and some of his coaches share. But we all start out in the very first place, which is called employed. We start working for someone for the most part. Some people start straight away in business, but for the most part, we're looking at being employed, getting trained, developing some skills, figuring out what we love. And then at some point, we think we can do it better than our bosses, or we can do it better than our managers or the business owners that we're working for. So we get this harebrained idea that says, hey, I'm going to go out, I'm going to do this myself, or I'm going to start a business. One of the craziest ideas I ever heard from a previous client was he started his business just because he wanted to wear jeans every day. I'm like, dude, that's a lot of work just for jeans. But this guy in the self-employed person is an individual who decides that they want to start a business. It's typically just that one person or a husband and wife starting a business, and they start the hustle. And if you remember in the old days with the playground, there were seesaws. And I kind of look at this stage as a seesaw. You get out there and you market and you sell, and you market and you sell, and you market and you sell your business and your services. And then all of a sudden you realize, oh my, I've got to fulfill this. So we start fulfilling the work that we've previously sold. So we're fulfilling orders. Previously all that selling, our bank account went way up. Now we're fulfilling and our bank account's dropping. So all of a sudden now you're saying, oh my, I have got to get out and sell again. So you get out there and you start selling again, and the same thing happens. Bank account builds up, then it drops down. Now, a lot of times for self-employed, those that make it, you're making more money than you made on the job, but you're also working around the clock, 60 hours, 80 hours a week to make this happen. You got a little money in the bank now, and you say, you know what? I need to add someone to my team. So what do? You figure out what you don't like doing, and you let them do it. So now you become a manager. But the problem here is, for most people, they don't have a background in hiring. And this business ownership and entrepreneurship, one of the things that happens is, if you come from the corporate world as an employee, you've gotten really good at doing a segment of the entire business for the most part. You're not experienced in the HR. You're not experienced in the training. You may not be experienced in the accounting, but as an entrepreneur, you've got to do all of that or manage it. And so you get into this world of managing, you hire someone, and then all of a sudden you hired them to answer your phones and be an assistant, but now you're asking them to do the QuickBooks and the accounting. And you're saying, and they're like, well, I don't do that. Well, just figure it out. Do some online tutorials. I'll pay for some classes. And then all of a sudden they're doing things that they're not good at, and you're getting frustrated. And this is also the merry-go-round. If we go back to that old playground, and you're just chasing your tail. You're like the dog that's trying to catch its tail and you never do, because you're still the best manager. You're the best salesperson. You're the best fulfiller. And you've got an ego about that no one can do it quite as good as you can. So what I call this stage, step 3, is decision time. At some point, you're going to decide, I hate this. I want to go back to just being a one-man band or husband and wife business. And you do that. Or your second choice is, you know what, forget it. I'm going to go back and get a job. And you give up the entrepreneurial dream. Or the third step, which is what I hope you do, is choose to get the training and the skills brought into the business that you need to grow it to that next level. And this is where I often come in with clients when they're starting to build their team, but they don't have quite the right idea of how to do it and the knowledge to build your dream team. So you bring a coach or a consultant, or you hire the right people to come in, or hire an HR firm to train your employees as well as hire them for you. And you start to build your dream team. In this stage as well, you also start to build your processes and systems so that everything is duplicatable. You cannot have a business that's running around in the entrepreneur's head. And that's how most businesses operate when they're on a small scale, is everything's in the owner's head. There's nothing documented. There's no processes. So a salesperson comes in, you wonder why they're not getting the same results as you. Well, you don't have your processes in place. You don't have a sales system that people can follow or be trained in. So then you go to that fourth stage, and this is where you become a business owner. Now you realize, hey, I'm not the best salesperson. Let me find someone that's better. I'm not the best marketer. Let me get someone that's better. I'm not the best fulfiller or designer or whatever your business is. Let me get someone that's better. And you have the overview and the strategy and the energy and the leadership to drive your business. But now, because you've got systems and processes, your business is documented and it runs with or without you. Where in the previous stages, your business did not run at all. And now you can go away for 2 weeks, 2 months, and your business will still operate with minimal input from you. And that's the goal that I have with my clients, is to get them out of that spider web and the 80 hours a week so that they can live a life and start to create that entrepreneurial or financial freedom. Once you get into this stage, you keep building, you keep growing, you keep scaling, and eventually you get into the fifth stage.
Learn the secrets entrepreneurs can use to create wealth and legacy. Discover exactly how the top 1% are building financial success, wealth, and a legacy quickly in their business. These are the only secrets you need to create wealth and legacy when it comes to building your online presence. When you visit bigmoneyinfluencerlive.com, you will get free access to the exclusive Big Money Influencers Live Business Kit. It teaches proven secret strategies that successful entrepreneurs are using daily to create wealth and legacy in their business. Foolproof methods established business owners are using to live and build wealth and legacy. We know you're busy, so we have convenient audios which include foolproof methods established business owners use to build wealth and legacy. Easy to follow binder notes. And if you're ready to 10x your online presence or ready to take your business online, you can book a call and discover how to get started. Visit bigmoneyinfluencerlive.com. That's bigmoneyinfluencerlive.com.
Fifth step, and that's the investor. The investor now has opportunities for new business opportunities, backing some other business so that they can grow as well, putting their systems into another business so that it can scale much quicker than they did because they've got all those years of lessons that they learned. And this is the 5 stages of business, and you need to figure out where on this stage you're at. Are you self-employed? Are you a manager? Are you starting to become a business owner? What skills do you need to get brought into your business and then grow from there? And the next slide you'll see what I want to teach is a simple financial figure that comes in, a math equation, so that we understand the value of our existing clients. So here, what we're looking at is the lifetime value of a client. And the lifetime value of a client is so important, but it's often overlooked for so many people. So this lifetime value of a client is something that shows every time we get a new client, we want to maximize the value. And I think earlier in the interview, I mentioned that I initially started in financial planning and insurance. And one of the reasons I looked at, I was in a country over in Australia that I didn't know anyone other than a handful of people. And so I focused on, if I'm going to work this hard, cold calling and marketing, let's market to business owners. Because if I get one client, that gives me multiple shots. I've got the business owner, the management team, and the employees that can potentially become clients. So that hard work of getting one client gives me multiple shots at multiple clients. And so that's what we have to do. So I, very not knowing at the time, understood what the value of a client was, and that I needed to make the maximum amount so that I could get out of those clients. So when you're looking at it, your lifetime value of a client is just how many transactions do you do per year with them? What's the profit per transaction times the number of years as a client? So I think in this one, we take a simple example of something like a hair salon. They do 10 transactions a year. There's $100 profit. They buy some product every time. Maybe they get a manicure along with a haircut, and then they're a client with you for 40 years if you're in business. So that's worth $40,000 each client. Every time someone says, I want to do business with you, there is a potential of putting $40,000 into your bank account. Now you can adapt the numbers for your business, but when you start to look at this and see that they're worth, for some businesses, $100,000, $1 million, why do you constantly keep looking for new clients? Because each client or customer is worth $40,000 to you, or whatever the number is in your business. And on the flip side, it's 6 times more expensive to sell something to a new customer than an existing one. So always focus on how can I provide greater service to my existing clients, and how can I give them more that gives them the result or what they're looking for my type of business. And then the final area that I want to look at in this short, brief talk is the only 3 ways to increase your revenue. There are only 3 ways, and people seem to want to focus on the accumulation of new clients as being the main way to increase your revenue. And that's just not simply the fact, but it's also much harder and much more expensive to do it. So the first way is to increase the number of clients, just like we mentioned. Obviously, we need to get more clients every year. Depending on your business, sometimes they purchase something from you every single month. Sometimes it's a transaction that happens once every year, or sometimes once every 5 or 7 years if you sell real estate. The frequency of the transactions is the second way that you increase. So that is the second component. Is there a way for you to increase the frequency of transactions? Can you provide other services that help get them the result that they're looking for from your type of business? And then the third area is the profit per transaction. Are you pricing your product and services correctly so that you can get the maximum profit? And that's one of the things that we have to look at, because a lot of times most businesses are competing on price as opposed to service and quality. And you want to be able to do that, and then you can increase the profit per transaction. Because at the end of the day, all of our clients are looking for the cheapest price for the service that we provide. So there's only 2 ways to do that. One is to reduce your price. The other is to increase the offering and what you're giving them. And that's what we want to focus on, because if we're competing per price, I remember 15 years ago, you used to see lawnmower stores all over the place that sold lawnmowers and weed eaters and all kinds, edgers and different services and that. And then Walmart just priced them out of the market, and they were gone in a day. But the ones that offered more than that and gave a better offering stayed in business and were very, very profitable, because they weren't trying to compete just on price. So let's take an example of that. So your revenue equals your number of customers, the frequency with which they purchase, and the profit per transaction. So as an example, let's say you have 100 clients and they purchase 10 times a year at $100 profit. That means $100,000 a year. So you can say, okay, that's great. Well, what do I do if I get 200 customers and they do 10 and 100? Well, that's 200,000 obviously, but how much harder and how much more expensive is it to get 200? So what we want to look at is, what if we only did a marginal increase of 10% in each of the areas? What does that look like, and how does that impact our profit margin? So the new means we've got 110 clients purchasing only 11 times and making $110 profit per equals $133,100. Now we can apply this to anything, but that's a 33% increase in business. That's a $33,100 increase in business just by doing these minor improvements. You've only added 10 more clients, one more transaction, and $10 profit to all of a sudden mean, wow, I've got 33,000. So an exercise I'd love for you to do on your own is just to take this and say, okay, well, put your numbers in and how would that impact you? And then think, okay, how could I get 10 more clients? How could I get one more transaction? And then finally, how could I get, $10 more profit? Sometimes it's just a price increase. Leave you with one story and then we'll kind of wrap up and get Ceanne back online as well. I had a interior design client, one of my star pupils, but when we first started, she was selling her services and her design fee for $125 an hour. But she was incredible at what she did. All we did initially is increase. She wouldn't go the full Monty up front, but we increased it to $175 an hour, which was still below market for top designers. And that instantly increased her profit, obviously. We increased some of the margins in the products she sold as well. And now all of a sudden, she's no longer worrying about increasing her business and how she's going to pay for things. She increased her business in the first 9 months by 450%. These are just simple things that we do and we work with our clients. So as we leave that, here's some of my contact details. If you need anything from us, would like to talk about it. For Ceanne, we're offering all of her clients a free consult to see where they're at and how they can grow. And then if you want to follow us on social media, here we are. What we want to do is show you how to find the niche that you need to grow your business. Because if you're growing your wealth, as Ceanne's, all of her panel is teaching you how to do, one of the things you need is cash flow, and you get that through your business. So the business is your first investment that allows you to diverse into all the other fantastic areas that you're going to learn in this summit.
Wow, thank you so much. That was amazing.
Not a problem.
And I'm so excited the offer that you just made for audience of the summit, that they get to sit down and have a free consult with you. That's so powerful. The question that Stan has stood out for me as you were talking, and is a big question in the summit, is where are you at in your business, in your wealth creation? Because if you don't know where you're at, you don't know where to start.
We've successfully run one-on-one coaching and some live events. Obviously, live events have gone by the wayside over the last year. So we've done a little bit more on Zoom. But we're making our transition into courses and still some one-on-one coaching. Love the one-on-one, love the impact, but I've got a course out that's called Niche Busters, and it teaches businesses how to identify their niche so they can be more profitable and scale their business quicker, so they can narrow down their marketplace. And that's where we're at. And we've got a team that runs and teaches people how to grow their business. Very excited about that course. It's something that I've done in a one-on-one format, and sometimes people just couldn't afford the one-on-one based on where they were in their business, where this gives them a platform to get all that same great information at a much, much reduced price.
Wonderful. Thank you. I want to invite the audience to reach out. We're going to be having at the end of the summit, VIP calls, hot seats, times for Q&As, and you can definitely take the opportunity and take the invitation that Jesus has offered graciously. Book a call out with him. So thank you so much for speaking with me today. I really appreciate you. I know Jesus personally. He's a man of character, and he will definitely bring you value and help you grow your business.
Thank you, Ceanne. It's been a blast, and I can't wait to meet your summit participants and give them any value that they need to grow their businesses.
Well, thank you very much.
To discover the secrets entrepreneurs are using to create wealth and legacy, visit bigmoneyinfluencerslive.com. And here's a big ask. If you love this podcast, will you take a minute to subscribe, review, and give us a 5-star rating? Be sure and share with your friends and family. And thank you for listening.